Welcome back to the show, everybody. We've got the latest in the SEC versus Ripple, and you need to know it. Then we're going to take a look at where are we going. We've got some things for you to see. Are the NDAs for Ripple partners burning off? And are we also seeing something else on a geopolitical level that could have massive implications for XRP? Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. Let's start right here this morning. It's linked to, ladies and gentlemen. If you have not done it, take advantage and click the link of the sponsor underneath the video and get private equity while it's still available. And we're talking about companies like iTrust, Circle, Ripple, Uphold, PolySign, Chainalysis, you name it. How about Axiom Space in the first commercial space station? What? Yeah, artificial intelligence. Look, all of it's here. It is the best private equity offerings in the world, but they don't last forever. So click the link and make sure you take advantage of it. Let's get started with the numbers this morning. Cryptocurrency market cap, $1 trillion. 0.09. That's where we are right now. The market is off by 0.9%. Now, we know we've been bleeding heavily in the crypto space, but it's the entire crypto space, ladies and gentlemen. This is not like isolated to just XRP. This is the whole market here. And we see Bitcoin 25,900. That's right, 25,900. 1,600 for Ethereum, down a couple $1,000s here. And Tether market cap, 82.8 billion right now. XRP is now 50 cents. We're off by 20% on the 7-day. You heard that right. That's how much this market is bleeding, ladies and gentlemen. Now, and by the way, Ethereum off by 10 on the 7-day and off by 11.9 with Bitcoin. Let's get into it, ladies and gentlemen. We got a lot to go over today. Shout out to Ripple partner, and this is AstroPay becomes Tottenham Football Club's official payment partner. Very big news there over on the other side of the pond. We love that for them. And I want to share this. Look, Ripple and AstroPay collaboration. It's worth mentioning that AstroPay became Ripple's partner 9 years ago. And I just wanted to highlight that because, you know, there's no overnight success. There's no such thing, right? These things have been in play for a long time, and I couldn't be more excited over the next couple years to watch what's going to happen, knowing that we've gotten this ruling from the case, and we're going to talk about that in 1 second. But if you do not know this, XRP exchange-traded products exist on Swiss Stock Exchange. How about that one? So there are, in fact, an ETF, an exchange-traded fund that's happening overseas. They call it exchange-traded products. So make sure you check that out if you're interested in that as well. And then this, how about this? Shout out to Mickle Markets for sharing this right here. Yeah, watching the XRP Ledger go. Look at this thing. Gee, Bonetti, I got to be honest. I mean, that is just amazing right there. Shout out to Mickle for that. Look, if you're not giving this guy a follow, how many followers Mickle got? 25,000? It should be 225,000. What the hell are we talking about? Yeah, give this guy a follow if you haven't done it. Really, really super sharp guy. Make sure you give him a follow, and shout out to him for sharing that. I mean, that visual is just like, I sat there and looked at that when I saw that for just about a couple minutes and just enjoyed it. Look here. This is news we've known. But you know what? This is what's happening. The Republic of Palau is partnering with Ripple to pilot the USD-backed stablecoin on the public XRP Ledger, right? There's a private version and public version, and this is on the public ledger. So it's a massive step forward here. And I say that the XRP Ledger is helping to make the world a better, more connected place. And I really do believe that because we know that it is very low in emissions and cost and its effectiveness, scalability, security, the whole thing, right? So it is a system and market infrastructure and network for the future. And I think it's just going to continue. And that brings us to this, because I've often said if you're going to have all the money, as Evan Schwartz has said from Ripple, if you're going to have all the money on the ILP or going across the XRP Ledger, then you're going to need absolute legal clarity in order for that to happen. And here we find ourselves with this court case. The SEC has officially filed its motion for leave to file an interlocutory appeal in the Ripple case, which means they are not filing the interlocutory appeal. They've been granted permission to ask for permission to do so. I know. I get it. But essentially, recap very quickly here. This is what it means. Shout out to James Murphy, Meta Lawman, got his channel back. Yeah, we all helped him get back, bring the power back. Listen to what he says right here.
Yeah, the development just moments ago is that Judge Torres is going to permit the SEC to file briefs. It's important for people to understand that she has not permitted an interlocutory appeal, but
there you have it right there. And I don't want to play the whole clip, but I tell you, he makes a fantastic point about how Brad and Chris and Ripple want their day in court. It's enough. It's almost 3 years now that they've been running good people's names through the mud, and it needs to stop. And we know damn well that this idea that they want to pursue Brad and Chris is absolutely nonsense, and you're going to see right here. Jeremy Hogan says, rightfully, based on the breaking news that the SEC has filed its motion to certify interlocutory appeal, which is permission to do so, right, as I understand it. He says, this is the SEC's request to allow it to file an appeal, but it's not an appeal itself. It is an appeal, you ask. Is it an appeal, you ask? He says, no, it's not. This is legally a non-appeal motion, and no, it's not appellate in nature. Thank you. No, thank you, Jeremy. And then we have this. The SEC has been forced to argue that reasonable judges can differ on whether crypto sales on exchanges can even be investment contracts. Fair enough. But then, how can it still maintain that non-lawyers like Garlinghouse and Larson intentionally, recklessly broke the law? That is why Stuart Alderati, I believe, and Brad Garlinghouse have said this is utter nonsense. Look, if you have different judges, one says that this can be contracts and one says that it can't. Let's say, like, you know, if you're looking at like a Rakoff decision versus Judge Torres, you have to look at this in the entirety of where this goes. This means that you really run the risk of what Jeremy points out here. When the plaintiff, the SEC, might show up on the defendant's witness list, the plaintiff might want to drop the allegations, which means we could sit the SEC as a witness on stand and say, how can you claim that Brad Garlinghouse and Chris Larson were intentionally reckless or broke the law when there are judges that have made decisions that are split? So there's obviously no clarity. You can't argue that there was, because there's an argument in the court system in rulings. So it just really becomes utter nonsense. And I tell you, it's despicable what's happening. But I tell you, in light of everything that we're seeing legally, and that journey will go on, and I believe Ripple will continue to be victorious in those motions and in those decisions going forward. And I think they're going to win in a big way. But look what's happening while that's going on. Just since the ruling here, we have Ripple joins the BIS, Bank of International Settlements, the central bank of central banks, and their task force committee for international cross-border payments. We have Ripple joining ISDA, right, which is an association basically for international swaps and derivatives. More than $1.2 quadrillion worth of settlement to be done there. And they are brought on to that association to help with the matter. That's why they're there, right? MasterCard forms CBDC partnership program and has Ripple join. This is the tone that's happening in the market, based what I feel on how these associations and industries are looking at Ripple. I think they get it. And I'm pretty damn excited about what they understand about it, because I'm here for it. Then there's a macro look I want to take a look at right here. First of all, shout out to Ripples in Wales. You got to give this guy a follow. How many follows this guy got? 11,000. Should be 111,000. What the hell's going on here? This guy's smart. Look, this guy and I align on a lot of the ideas here. He's going to play a clip where he explains what could happen. Let's take a listen to the clip.
What's up, everybody? This is Ripples in Wales. So, today, BRICS. What's it all about? It's about de-dollarization. The BRICS nations are about to circumvent the IMF, the World Bank, and the SWIFT system with their own systems. What are those systems? They are the AIIB, the Asian Investment Infrastructure Bank, which will replace the need for the IMF and the World Bank loans, and they have replaced the need for the use of SWIFT by using their own system called CIPS, CIPS. Okay, the end result is the de facto no need for the dollar. It's de-dollarization. It isn't the use of an interledger protocol yet, or XRP or anything to do with that. It is destabilizing the dollar, because now the BRICS nations don't need to go to the West for loans through the IMF and World Bank. They don't need to use the West system, which is SWIFT, for payments and transport. They've got their own infrastructure built out. Jim Rickards has told you about this. Ross Vandermeer has told you about this. So it's going to speed up the need for de-dollarization. And how is the West going to react to that? I propose what they're about to do is the West is likely to have to adopt a new liquidity tool in between central banks, IMF, ECB, World Bank, in order to do any trade with the East, with the BRICS nations. And why would they want to do trade with the East? Simple. BRI, the Belt and Road Initiative. China's infrastructure, the Silk Road 2.0, will be coming straight into the Western countries, and the G20 want to use that. They don't want to be cut out of investments from the East, because the East is a growing economy. So in order to do trade with them, they won't be able to use the dollar system because it won't be accepted. So they'll have to bring a new tool for liquidity. So the West is going to adopt a new tool for liquidity provisions. And what is that tool for liquidity? Well, we can hypothesize that it might be XRP, to replace the need for that dollar liquidity tool in their system. That makes sense? I hope that's good.
It is good. And it makes sense to me, because I've been talking about that exact same thing for a long time. And I absolutely believe that that's the ultimate goal. This has always been about the death of the petrodollar. And we're seeing evidence of that. Look, if we go back through history, the United States dropped the gold standard. The U.S. then goes on the petrodollar agreement because Kissinger went over and set it up. Saudi Arabia may drop the petrodollar agreement. In the next few days, that may be announced that Saudi Arabia is joining BRICS. They are certainly not going to serve two masters and join Brazil, Russia, India, South Africa, and China in the BRICS coalition and still honor the petrodollar agreement. This would force the United States to adopt some kind of new liquidity tool to deal with the new system that's being built with the BRICS coalition that could end up encompassing more than half of the global population and its natural resources. That is quite a powerful statement to think about. If we understand that, and then the pressure Brian Brooks has said to us about understanding that the U.S. dollar was at 20 years ago 73% dominance over the rest of the reserve currencies, now at 58%. He says we are looking towards a rapid cliff between 58% to 50% with the spillover shocks that we could feel with economic shifts taking place soon. I have always said it's not money unless everyone agrees that it's money. And one thing's for sure, in 2008, in the last crisis, it was about real estate default swaps that were repackaged, that were bad, and kept repackaged them until the collapse happened. The bubble popped and the collapse happened. But this time around, the recession, the crisis that is in front of us now is at the doorstep of the central banks. No longer can you just print money. You're going to need to shore up the fiat system, whether that's going to a gold-backed brick system or whether that's having the world get on a gold-backed system collectively. And if they do, I believe the U.S. steps in last, and they may say, we're not going to back a dollar by gold. we're going to back it by everything that's on the XRP Ledger. And then maybe we even see a Fed coin approach like David Andolfado from the St. Louis Fed has suggested. Then you could peg the dollar denomination to XRP based on the amount of volume of liquidity and utility on the network. And then the new US dollar would be backed by, the US dollar would be backed by, rather, all the money. Not financial advice from me or anyone else. It's just my digital perspectives. Very quick before we get out of here, XRP has formed a cup and handle pattern perfectly, regardless of the pullback in price. Keep your eye on the macro because you never know where it's going to go. Again, not financial advice from me or anyone else. I'll catch all of you on the next one.